Just a little bit about myself for you guys. I can believe it's not butter. I can tell the difference between delivery and DiGiorno. I'm smarter than a 5th grader. But just an average 5th grader, not like a genius. I'm screwed. I come from a town, oh, you guys probably heard of it. It's called North Tonawanda, New York. No? That's okay, they've never heard of Los Angeles. Such a small town that, for fun, my friends and I would sit around and rub pens on binders until they got hot and then burn each other with them. This was like a Saturday activity. I recently visited home, and there's something that you forget about when you visit home, that your stay comes with a complimentary alarm clock, which was my mom. And my mom recently got a new dog, and I love dogs, but I'm not familiar with this dog's habits. And halfway through the walk, the dog just started eating its own shit. And my instinct was to stop the dog, but then I remembered I forgot a bag. So it worked out. I want to be a more adventurous person. I want to be the type of person that I'm at a restaurant, I could say something like, I'll have what she's having. But right now, I'm the type of person that's like, I'll have what she's having, but if we could substitute the cheese for American, and then if we could switch out the lobster for the steak. Actually, I don't want the same meal at all. Looking for a new job. I wish I could be an archaeologist from a movie. If you think about their hourly pay for what they find in caves and stuff, it's like $500 million an hour, roughly. And the job I have now pays roughly, just roughly. I drive for Uber Eats. Thank you. And I'd rather drive for Uber Eats than regular Uber because food doesn't judge your driving skills in the car. And I learned how to drive from Crazy Taxi at the arcade. There's just a PSA for everybody here. Please come out to the curb to grab your food if you're giving me like a labyrinth to go into to deliver it. For instance, here's a list of instructions that I get. All right, sneak past my sleeping grandmother. Approach 2 back doors as a choose your own ending. When you get to the lawn, be careful, I have 3 dogs. I'm sitting in a hammock in the back, and that's where you can deliver my quesarito. It's not worth it. I updated my Tinder bio to include the fact that I own dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. And a girl hit me up and said, hey, what about those dino nugs? I was like, all right. So she comes over, and I started cooking the dinosaur chicken nuggets. And she asked me to use the bathroom. And all of a sudden, I hear the shower turn on, and she takes a shower, and then comes out and scarfs down the dino nugs, and then leaves. I'm killing it with the homeless on Tinder. It's a lot of fun. If there was a Netflix series about my dating life, it would be called Stranger Flings. I've been doing something recently that I like to call Netflix and Quill. That's where I sit in front of my TV watching Netflix while I chug NyQuil. It's awesome. Being back home just reminded me of being a kid a lot. I remembered an instance where my whole second grade class just found out what the finger was. So we were running around gym class just like going like this to everybody. We didn't know what it meant. We just picture a bunch of kids doing that to each other. And the gym teacher, all she did was say, "All right, I can't handle you." And come to think of it, that was probably the best choice for her. Because had she explained to us the finger, my mom would have been like, "Where'd you learn that?" "Well, the gym teacher told us to." It would come back around to her. And while I was home, I ran into an old friend who worked at a grocery store in New York. And I was like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" He said, "I'm just a manager at this grocery store. How have you been?" I saw that you're in LA now. And I said, "Yeah, I'm doing great. I moved across the country and I also work in the grocery store." So I'm killing it at Vons on 3rd Street. Anyone wants to come by? I actually moved straight to Koreatown when I came here, and there was a big culture shock for me. And I'm not bilingual, so I was not helpful working at the Vons in Koreatown. They put me out with the cards because there's no one to talk to. And if you're talking to the cards, then you're just crazy. I'm really in awe of how genius you have to be bilingual, because the English language is really dumb sometimes. For instance, there's certain phrases where you could change your entree and it will change what everything means. Like chicken out and steak out, not the same thing. I grew up in the 1990s, which was terrible for my health. Everything was fruit related. There was fruit snacks, fruit by the foot, fruit roll-ups, no actual fruit. I grew up in an era, you guys know it, where it was really cool to try to watch sex scenes on VHS. So I was down in the basement fast forwarding through Risky Business. That was probably the riskiest movie that we had. Taped off of TV. So I get to where the sex scene is about to start, and all of a sudden the tape jumps to my parents' wedding reception. That was the biggest buzzkill of my whole life. I still to this day don't know if it was my parents' wedding reception that somebody taped Risky Business over, or if somebody taped over Risky Business for my parents. Either way, it's really bizarre and I don't know what to think. I grew up playing piano, and I sort of wish I grew up playing guitar, because you can't serenade a woman with a keyboard on her lawn. I'm standing outside the window. "Hey, you got an outlet? Anyone?" I can just pretend and you won't hear the music or something. I dated 3 women named Jasmine back to back to back. Before this, I've never met a Jasmine in my whole life. And I went on a date with Jasmine 3, I'll say it for short, to visit her friend Austin at Panera Bread. So I get to Panera Bread, and the friend Austin is there hooking us up with free drinks. And all of a sudden she gets a text that says, "What does it mean if a guy texts you that he's jealous to see you with another guy?" I was like, that's exactly what it means. And so she asked me to play Truth or Dare, so of course I say yes, because I want to see where this is going. And she asked me who I lost my virginity to, and I answer her like she would know somebody from upstate New York. And I turned the question around on her, and she said, I lost it to Austin, that's working with me. So I try to leave. Try is the key word. We're walking home, and she sits down on a bench and says, you know what, I'm gonna wait for my roommate to come and pick me up. And I said, wait a minute, you don't live with Austin, dude. Yeah, I live with Austin. And so that night, I was roped into a sex cult with Austin. I actually have to go meet up with him now, thank you guys.